Hey guys, I'm James, also known as Just Some Nerd, and in this video we're going to be talking about weathering and distressing fabric for your cosplays. Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing some weathering for one of my favorite cosplays, Captain Jack Sparrow. I picked up this fabric online to use as the sash that Jack wears around his waist, and as we all know, nobody likes a clean pirate, so we gotta dirty this up a bit. The first thing you should do before weathering anything for a cosplay is to look at lots of reference pictures. In the case of Jack's sash, it changes from movie to movie and even scene to scene. So what I recommend is just pick one or two reference pictures that you really like and kind of use that as a guide to go by. Because you're just gonna drive yourself crazy trying to make it match everything from every movie. It's also important that you do this in a way that makes sense and don't just start ripping up fabric like a madman. You gotta think about the way that things would wear and tear naturally. The first step I'm going to do is to tea dye my fabric, and that's gonna give it a yellowish light brown tint to it that's gonna make it look aged. I'm going to use tea, but you could also use coffee or acrylic paint or even fabric dye. If you're gonna use fabric dye, I recommend you to do a little test swatch first so that you don't overdo it. I'm going to put some hot water in the sink and soak my fabric, and then I'm going to heat up some water on the stovetop and add 5 or 6 tea bags. How many tea bags you use really depends on how much darker you want to make your material. Once that's ready, you just pour it into the sink with your fabric and let it soak. Be sure to agitate the fabric every now and then so that the color comes out even. You can leave your fabric in the dye for as long as you'd like, again, depending on the effect that you're going for. However, once the water gets cold, it isn't going to be as effective. Once you're happy, take the fabric out of the water and hang it up to dry. Now that the fabric is dry, we can move on to adding some rips and tears. If you saw my video with my friend Alex Burns, who worked in the costuming department on the show Black Lightning, as well as being a fellow Sparrow cosplayer, he told me that one of his favorite tricks for weathering fabric is to use a steak knife. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to lightly run the knife over the fabric in a few different spots, and then I'm going to use some low grit sandpaper to rough it up a bit more. Once I'm happy with this, I'm going to lightly brush on some different shades of brown acrylic paint around some of the edges. You might think when weathering a costume that, I want this to look really dirty, so why don't I just rub my fabric around in the dirt? Well, for one, you want to look dirty, you don't actually want to be dirty. Also, most of that real dirt is just going to wash out when you clean your costume, so that's why I recommend that you use paint instead. The last step might surprise you a little because we're trying to make this look dirty, but what I'm going to do is wash it. Putting your fabric through the wash will help the tears you added look more natural, as well as help blend the paint into the fabric. If you feel like too much of the color gets washed out, you can always go back and repeat the previous steps as many times as it takes to achieve the level of weathering you're going for. Alright guys, there you have it, one sufficiently weathered pirate sash. Now, what I was going for with this was to be kind of subtle about it. I didn't want to overdo it. If this was for like a zombie costume, maybe we would have gone a lot heavier and added like some blood splatters and like some claw marks and stuff. But for this, this is what I was going for. This not too weathered, but to tell that it had been through something. And I think it turned out really well for what I was going for. So tell me guys, what cosplay projects have you used techniques like this on? Or do you have some other weathering techniques that I should know about? Let me know down in the comments below. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, please consider subscribing. And if you're interested in following my other cosplay adventures, you can follow me on Facebook at JustSomeNerd or on Instagram at JustSomeNerd1. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. See you next time.